going to do a full game from start to finish. And it's just going to be a word jumble game. It's a puzzle game in which the computer creates a version of a word where the letters are in some random order. The player has to guess the word in order to win the game. If the player is stuck, they can ask for a hint. Now, puzzle games, they don't break the top 10 list of games, but they're still published year after year because they're fun. So, that's a good example, pulling together the things that we've been doing over the past few weeks. So, we'll go ahead and create our game, our new text document. I'm going to save it as wordjumble.cpp. And we'll dive into setting up the program. We'll say that it's called Word Jumble. The classic word jumble game where the player can ask for a hint. Okay, I include the library files that I need. In this case, it's iostream, string. Since we're going to be randomizing the letters of our word, we need the C standard library file. As soon as my computer catches up with me. And we also need the ctime file so that we can use the time function to seed our random number generator. We'll give a directive that we're using the std namespace and open up our main function. Now, our first task is going to be to pick a word to jumble, the word that the player will try to guess. So we're going to create a list of words and hints. We'll do that using enumerators for our fields. And our fields will be called words, hint, and number of fields. Now we'll declare a constant integer called num words. So the maximum number of words that this game will store is 5. And a constant string of a multidimensional array that has num words and num fields. Okay, this is where we're actually defining the words that are in our jumble. And so we have a number of words and a number of fields. Number of fields we don't declare an integer for, but we did declare the constant integer for num words is 5. So we know that we can have no more than 5 words in this array. Okay. First row, we'll have the word wall, and the hint would be, do you feel you're banging your head against something? Second row is glasses, and nope. And the hint is these might help you see the answer. A third row, which is our third word and our third hint. Labored, and the hint is going slowly, is it? Fourth, the word is persistent, and the hint is keep at it. And then fifth, it's what the game is all about. Okay, close our curly brace that wraps around all of the rows and columns in our multidimensional array. This is a two-dimensional array. Okay, so our enumeration defines the enumerators for accessing the array. The first field is is words. The second field is hints, and then num fields is the total number of fields in that array. Now, since we start 0, 1, 2, num fields is 2, that tells the value of num fields here. We didn't declare that constant, but we did declare it through our enumerator. Okay, this is a way that you can list a final enumerator and use that as a way to store the number of elements. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go ahead and get ready to pick a random word from our choices. So we need to seed our random number generator. Okay, so that seeds our random number generator. Now we'll have an integer choice, which will be equal to random modulus num words. And now string the word. This will store the actual word that we're using. Okay, choice will call the proper index, and okay, so in this particular string, we're storing the word that we want the player to guess. Okay, we have string the word, which is equal to words, our array here, choice for number of words, and then word for number of fields. Okay, so we're generating a random index after this, which will assign the random word at that index and its hint to the variables, the word and the hint, which we'll do in a moment. I thought I sensed a mistake up here. Okay. So what this line does, I had mistakenly put words instead of word here. And that had me a little confused as to why I was typing word and where that variable was, or where that constant was. String the word calls the array words, which is here. It looks for the index, the choice, which is the first row in our, or the whatever row is chosen. If the number was 3, it would go to the third row, okay? And then the actual content of the word would be whatever is in the column called word. Okay, our first column, the field is labeled word, so it would store labored. In our next string, we're going to define the hint. We're going to store the right hint for the randomly chosen word. So we have string the hint equal to words choice, which is whatever random choice was chosen here, and then the field called hint, the column called hint, which again, if the random number was 3, the hint would store going slowly, is it? And just a comment that that's the hint for the word. Oh, I didn't want you to capitalize that. There we go. Okay, now we want to generate that random index to actually jumble up the word. Okay, we've already actually seeded our random number generator. We've defined our word, we've defined our hint. Now we need to create a jumbled version of it. String jumble equals the word, and this variable will store the jumbled version of the word. We declare an integer called length, and we set that equal to jumble.size to get the size of our word. Now, we're going to cycle through the different letters in the word, the different possible lengths. We have I equals 0, as long as I is less than length, which we stored up here, and plus plus I. Of int index 1, which is equal to a random number between 0 or between 1 and whatever the length of the word is. In this case, no, it is 0 because we're not adding 1. So between 0 and the length. Now index 2, random number between 0 and length. We'll define a character array called temp to store things as we're mixing them up. Which will be jumble index 1. So each time we pull in a character, it will store it in temp. Now, we'll set jumble index 1 equal to jumble index 2. And jumble index 2 equal to temp. Okay, so what we do here is we create a copy of the word jumble to jumble. We generate 2 random positions in our string object and then swap the characters in those positions. And we'll do that a number of times equal to the length of the word. So each time this loop runs, it will find 2 random positions in the word and swap the characters. If the word is 8 characters long, it'll do this 8 times. If the word is 5 characters long, it'll do it 5 times. So that should get us a pretty randomly jumbled version of that word. Okay, now that we've got our code set up, we'll go ahead and welcome the player to the game. And we'll tell them what they need to do. If they want a hint, they can ask for one by typing hint. And if they just want to give up, they can type quit. Now we'll tell them what the jumble is. Now we're ready to have them give us a hint. So we create a string called guess that will store whatever their guess is. Okay, we'll see out your guess. And then we'll accept input into the word guess. So we've given them instructions on how to play, including how to quit the game and how to ask for a hint. Now we'll go ahead and enter the game loop. While guess is not equal to the word and guess is not equal to quit, if guess is equal to hint, we want to give them the hint. Otherwise, we'll tell them, sorry, that's not it. And then we prompt them to give us another guess. And beach ball. There we go. Your guess. And accept their input into guess. Okay, so the loop continues to ask the player for a guess until the player either guesses the word, which would make this false, or asks to quit, which would make this false. If either of these are false, then the loop will exit. The loop will only continue as long as both of these are true. Now, let's say they actually guess the word. So we've exited our loop, and we've exited the loop because guess is equal to the word. We'll see out. That's it. You guessed it. And then at the end of that, we will see out. Thanks for playing. We'll return 0 because we're shutting the program down. Close our main function, and I'll save it. If the player has guessed the word, then we congratulate them for guessing it. Whether they have guessed it or not, we thank them for playing. So if this loop exits because they typed quit, We see out thanks for playing, and the game exits. So let's go ahead and compile this. See what mistakes I've made. None. All right, I'll clear the screen, run it. Okay, so it says that our jumble is GSSASEL. I'm going to guess gravel. Sorry, that's not it. I'm going to guess leaves. That's not it. I'll ask for a hint. Tells me these might help me see the answer. So I'll type glasses. Says that's it, you guessed it, and then it thanks me for playing. Let's go ahead and run it again. I'll guess blue jay. Says that's not it. Now let's test our quit option. Thanks for playing. Notice that this is case sensitive. If I type quit with a capital Q, it says that's not it. Okay, jumble is Del Raub. Let's ask for a hint. Labor is not right because I haven't matched. If I capitalize the D, I haven't matched. That time I matched it. Okay, that's the Word Jumble program. Feel free to play around with this over the weekend. Maybe add more words to it. Just remember that if you add to the words, the number of words you have, you will also have to change your constant here for the number of words. Otherwise, it won't allow you to keep adding words into it. Any problems or questions, just let me know. Thanks a lot, and folks, have a great weekend.